By establishing this memorial, we raise the awareness of ongoing problems of sexual and human trafficking that's taking place in the metro area and the world today. The city of Brookhaven is proud to join a growing list of progressive cities around the world that have installed this memorial to recognize the comfort women and to talk about their suffering.
I find it cosmically ironic that just as the girls and women who were enslaved found it difficult to find their
hanging out in a strip club surrounded by nude dancers and people doing drugs. Tonight, a decision on whether the Pink Pony Gentlemen's Club can reopen, and one mom is beside herself.
South Korean soldiers who were part of the U.S. coalition rounded up 430 peasants and brutally killed them in November 1966. It was one of many mass killings.
The soldiers began to shoot and to throw grenades onto them, and some also used machine guns. Among them, there were 21 pregnant women.
Pham Dao went into hiding and escaped, but he could hear the screams of the victims. He lost most of his family that day.
My parents, my wife, my eldest brother, one of my sisters, and 5 nieces and nephews were killed. After killing the people here, they also burned down all of the houses, and they killed hundreds of cows and buffaloes.
Only 8 people who survived the massacre are still alive. Pham Dao says they still have bad feelings about the South Koreans.
I did not know why they were so barbarous. Our people are very afraid of the Koreans.
Những cái vùng mà ngày xưa của lính Hàn tác chiến, những nơi mà lính Hàn hãm hiếp con cái, để ra những đứa con vứt bỏ nơi đó. Cho nên chúng tôi tha thiết yêu cầu chính phủ, quốc hội, tổng thống Hàn nhìn lại.
Her pimp sold her to one of the brothels allowed by the government to serve American soldiers. On June the 25th, 64 years after the Korean War broke out, Cho joined 122 surviving comfort women, as they were called, in a lawsuit against their government to reclaim, they say, human dignity and proper compensation. The suit comes as an embarrassing distraction for the South Korean government, which has pushed Japan to properly atone for what it says were World War II atrocities, including forcing women, many of them Korean, to serve as sex slaves for its soldiers. The women claim the South Korean government trained them and worked with pimps to run a sex trade through the 60s and 70s for US troops, encouraged women to work as prostitutes, and violated their human rights. Formal recognition for the contribution made by the women and financial compensation.
The Korean War ended in 1953, but American troops remain in South Korea to defend against possible invasion from the north. 37,000 US soldiers are stationed on 99 bases and installations in this most militarized region of the world. And surrounding each base and installation are camp towns, filled with bars, clubs, brothels, and over 27,000 women. In 40 years, over 1 million Korean women have worked in the military sex industry to service American soldiers. Their lives, however, are not part of the official U.S.-Korea history.
The owner decided I cannot make money for them, and then they took me to the campsite, which is Ujeongbu. They sold that one of a lady.
개로 인해서 기준을 결국엔 들어오게 된 것이고. 그다음에 이제 저기 동기 채널에 팔린 거야. 그 아저씨가? 나를 팔렸어.
Investigation targets an Asian-based international criminal organization that is allegedly involved in the smuggling of young women into Canada for sexual exploitation. The victims from Korea and China received assistance from that criminal organization to enter Canada illegally It is estimated that more than 500 women have been exploited by this prostitution ring.
An outburst of anti-US feeling as students in Seoul take to the streets in protest. They're here in the name of two 13-year-old schoolgirls killed in June by an armoured vehicle driven by two US soldiers. The soldiers were acquitted last week, prompting an outcry from students who call the trials a sham. Currently, the US military has jurisdiction over its soldiers accused of crimes while on duty. This has bred contempt among many.
We're not discussing something very abstract. We're talking about real people here. And the real people we are talking about are the comfort women. Who are they? Take a look at this. They are those forced into sex slavery by the Japanese Imperial Army during World War II. The statues that likely to be built in California, sitting on a wooden chair. The young girl has her fists balled in her lap, her expression unsmiling and determined. Her heels unattached to the ground, and on her shoulder sits a small bird. There's an empty chair beside her. Everything about this statue has some meanings behind it. We will not go into further discussion about what this art piece means, but rather, what does it remind us and how history should be looked at.